Some breaking Patriots news on a Wednesday night. They decide to cut veteran wide receiver Mohamed Sanu. I'm Sierra Goodwill, here with Evan Lazar. We went from thinking Sanu was the number 2 or 3 wide receiver on this team to having some concerns throughout training camp, but this was still slightly shocking. On Wednesday night, days before roster cutdown day, Patriots decide to cut ties. What led to this decision?
Well, Sierra, we were just talking about it. He had this amazing offseason where he's got all these training videos and he's killing his rehab. He gets back on the field ready to go for the start of training camp and padded practices. And the expectation was that his injury originally might push him into the regular season on the PUP list, and he eventually got off the PUP list really quickly and was able to get out there. But Sanu, unfortunately, just could never create much separation in practice. It was pretty evident early on in training camp that he wasn't running by anybody anymore. He lacked the juice. He really couldn't get open over the top at all. He was really only creating separation on things underneath the defense, just quick hitters out of the slot. And a lot of us down there kind of theorized, what are they going to do here? Are they going to trade him? Are they going to cut him? Are they just going to keep him as a veteran presence? I was leaning towards keep him as a veteran presence, but I think that they have plans in mind to use some of these younger receivers that we can talk about here in a second.
Yeah, like I said earlier, he was expected to have top 3 wide receiver production this season. I think on all fronts heading into training camp, obviously not up to where the Patriots expected him to be. So now, do they need to bring in another guy, or can they rely on these other wide receivers that have been performing well in training camp, like your Gunnar Olszewski? Maybe this frees up a spot for Jeff Thomas, and do they just continue to roll with what they've got?
That's a great question. The move frees up another $5.75 million in cap space. They're up to $37 million in cap space. Now, some of that's from the opt-outs, right? So some of it's kind of fake money, so to speak, but that's a lot of cash to have. We talked about Leonard Fournette already in a video today. I think that's a possibility for the Patriots if they want to use some of that money on him. But in terms of the wide receiver position, I kind of look at some of these younger players and think maybe they're going to rely on those guys to provide, a second-year leap. Bill Belichick's talked a lot this training camp about second-year guys that have come in and looked really, really good in camp. Guys like Gunnar Olszewski, like you said, I think now becomes somebody that's going to factor into that third receiver spot behind Harry and Julian Edelman, obviously. Damari Bird's going to be a factor in there too, and I think what it does is it frees up a roster spot for one of Jacoby Myers or Jeff Thomas. I'm leading Jeff Thomas right now just because going with this Sanu cut, it's clear to me that the Patriots are trying to get faster on the outside at receiver and get some more speed. So to keep a guy like Myers over Jeff Thomas doesn't really follow suit with that sort of plan. So I think they're going to go all speed. Devin Ross is going to make it. I think Bird's going to make it. Jeff Thomas might make it now. And Gunnar obviously is a little bit faster and a little bit, burstier in general than a guy like a Mohamed Sanu. I also wouldn't be surprised based off of practice if the Patriots use N'Keal Harry a little bit more in the slot, which I know a lot of people have been clamoring for because he was a really good and effective big slot receiver at Arizona State his last year there. So I think those are a bunch of options for the Patriots out of the really last year's draft class and UDFA classes over the last couple of seasons, and then Bird, who is a free agent addition.
Well, for all of our New England Patriots coverage, you can find it on our website at clnsmedia.com. And as always, subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.
This segment has been brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code MAXWELL20 at manscaped.com. Take your grooming game to the next level.